Hello guys, today I'm interviewing Lamah Giggs. He has had 3 professional fights, 1 win, 2 defeats. And my first question for you is, what's been your hardest fight so far?
I think my hardest fight would have been the last one I just had. I wasn't really conditioned, I wasn't really fit enough for it. It was like a learning curve for me. Just more of an eye-opener after the fight. I mean, I'd done well to say I wasn't really fit enough and conditioned. I took the fight with 2 weeks notice, so I didn't really get to have like a full camp like I would have liked to have done. But nevertheless, we still went over to Swansea, put on a performance, and then the outcome was the outcome.
Yeah. Was that against Moses Jolly?
Yeah, that was against Moses Jolly. So he came in. Obviously, I'm a small heavyweight, and these guys are there like 6'6". So obviously, he's came in big, strong. I've came in small and strong, not really fit, if you want to say that. I mean, we had a good fight. Nearly stopped him in the second round. Some referees would have stopped it. This time, the referee didn't choose to stop the fight, and it just went all the way to the end. And then I knew I wasn't going to win on points anyway. Obviously, home fighters tend to generally get a slight advantage, but it is what it is. It's a learning curve. We move forward and we'll go from there.
Yeah. And then you made your debut last year, didn't you, against Reese Kenny?
Yeah, Reese Caney, yeah. That was a home show. I was a lot more fitter than what I was. And it was a close fight. I mean, obviously and that was at home as well. And I didn't, like I was just saying again, I didn't even get the advantage. Obviously the referee saw something in Reese what I didn't quite have. I mean, I was fit enough for the fight with him, especially. It was a close fight. At the time, to say I've been boxing for like a few years now, I didn't realize that the referee actually makes the decision. So at the end of the fight, the referee was just basically saying, he had him winning the fight instead of me. And then again, it was just a learning curve and we moved forward from there again, yeah.
Yeah. I thought, did you think you won that fight?
The first fight, I think, worst case scenario, it would have been a draw. I don't think he'd done enough to win the fight, but it's fighting styles, and his fighting style was a bit more of a poor man's Tyson Fury, a bit flashier. I'm more of a block and counter puncher, so I might take a few to get in all in the mix, do you know what I mean? And then when I'm close enough and my opponent's close enough, obviously because I'm so small as well, I let my hands go from there. But like I said, the referee must have just liked his style. He was a bit flashy, like tapped his hands behind his back and that sort of thing. So the referee just gave it to him, yeah.
Yeah. Did you sell many tickets for your debut?
Yeah, my debut, I done quite well. So initially I took 80 tickets, which was 40 ringside. So I had like 4 tables and 40 standard tickets, which is obviously standing in the tiered seating at our venue that we have.
Yeah.
I sold all them pretty quickly. And then I had to take like another 20 standard tickets from another guy that was fighting on the show. And it worked out around like between 97 and 100 tickets all in all.
Oh, so quite a lot.
Yeah, quite a lot. Yeah, it was a big turnout for the first one.
And then what about your fight with Jake Darnell?
Jake Darnell, I think I'd done 77 tickets. Again, I took, obviously, because I had a good response the first time, I took more tickets. So I took 50 ringside and 50 standard. I sold all my ringside tickets, and I was just, I was left with like, I sold 77, so it's about 21. I don't even know what the maths is, but yeah, the rest. Yeah, the rest I was left just short, not too many. I nearly done 100 again, but yeah, another good turnout, I suppose.
Did you watch Jake Darnell's fight like the weekend just gone?
You know what? I was meant to, because the guy that he was fighting, he fought the Jamie TKV, right?
Yeah.
So I met Jamie TKV back in 2018 at the East Midlands Box Cup, where obviously I'm from the East Midlands, and I didn't realize that I didn't realize he was fighting Jake Darnell. But me and Jamie, we got kind of we got a good relationship. We speak now and then on the phone. We interact on Instagram and that. It's not like 100% a brotherhood, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The fight actually with Jake Darnell and Jamie, the fight came in for me.
Did it?
The fight came in for me. My manager said, "Oh, we're looking to fight. Oh, there's a fight that's coming, Sky." And I knew as soon as he said it was the Sky and it was this time around this time, I knew it was going to be Jamie. And I said, yeah, even though we're cool and like I said, we interact on socials, I said, yeah, because for me, obviously it was fighting on Sky. It was just going to be an opportunity. Do you know what I mean? Where if his management said no, or if he said no, he was always going to be fighting on Sky. So I just said yeah to take the opportunity. And then he came back and said, oh, I know, obviously people call me Griggs instead of Lamar. He's like, oh, I know Griggs. We're cool. I look at him like a friend. I won't want to fight him closer. I won't want to fight him at this stage of our career. If it was like something a bit more like any kind of title or whatever, or if it was to ever meet further down the line, then it will do so. So, I mean, that's massive respect to Jamie. So, yeah, like for me, it was an opportunity, and I just had to just say, yeah. I even messaged him and said, look, listen, bro, it's nothing, no disrespect. Like I said, either way, he was going to be fighting on Sky. For me, that's an opportunity, and I would have needed to take the opportunity to fight on a platform like that. And he was just like, yeah, I get it, I understand. And yeah, like I said, we're cool. Like we have like a semi-good relationship, and like we interact through socials, yeah, and we spoke about it, yeah.
So is that like a fight down the line that you would like to have?
No, I mean, like if it came about, and like he said, if it was for something, we could put the friendship aside and okay, let's just put the gloves on and go at it, and the best man wins. But it's not a name calling thing where I'm saying I want Jamie TKV and I want this and I want that. But obviously he's signed to Boxer. I think is it Boxer that he's signed to?
Yeah, Boxer.
Yeah, he's signed to Boxer, and like for me, I'm not really signed to no one. So if
I thought you were signed by Scott Carlo.
No, we're not signed by Scott Carlo. What happens is that Scott Carlo over here, he's a boxing promoter and he puts on the boxing shows.
Yeah.
So me and my team, we just fight on his show. There's no like official pen work to say I'm one of Scott Carlo's fighter. My manager Jimmy Gill, he gets the phone call. Obviously, it's local to us as well, and I'm really kind of like the only professional heavyweight out there in Nottingham. Like, there's no one else in Nottingham that's registered as a professional heavyweight. Do you know what I mean? So when he gives us, like, when he's putting on shows, he'll give Jimmy a ring and say, "Look, does Lamar want to fight on the show?" And then go from there. Yeah, we're not officially signed to him as he's my promoter, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So who is your promoter?
We don't have a promoter. So like when I look at the promoters, obviously you look at like Ben Shalom, Boxer, Eddie Hearn, and all the rest of it. You can say I'm like, is it like a freelance? Well, I don't have a promoter. We just have managers and my training coaches. I'm not actually signed to a promoter such as Frank Warren, the Eddie Hearns, and the Ben Shalom. Do you know what I mean? So if any of these guys had a fight and it came in as an opportunity for me, then obviously I'm gonna have to take it.
With both hands.
Say that again, sorry?
You would take the opportunity with both hands.
Of course, like I said, if I'm just local small show boxer at the minute, which I am, if somebody actually says, look, listen, do you want to come on like the Jamie fight, for example, if the request came in, my manager let me know and said, look, listen, do you want to fight? I said, oh, it's going to be on Sky. It's gonna have to be like, yeah, why would I not? Even in the fight with Moses Jolly, I didn't realize till I got there, it was on BBC Wales. So
Yeah, it was.
yeah, so when I've got there, I've seen a whole big setup, the camera crew in the ring walk. Do you know what I mean? So any kind of big stage, I'll take the opportunity and go for it because you'd be silly not to.
Yeah. Would you fight like George Fox, like on a Frank Warren show?
I mean, like, I don't know who they, like, as much as I love boxing and I'm into boxing, like, with people, I know who George Fox is, but some names that you start chucking out, I don't really know, like, the background and the statistics with them and whatever, but obviously I'm a fighter, so like I said, if the call came in, it happened to be George Fox, or if it happened to be Jamie or whatever, then if after the Moses fight, I realized though, if I'm in good enough shape and a good enough condition, I'm gonna take the fight, regardless of who it's against. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah,
if you want to chuck the George Fox name out there, yeah, I would fight him, but that's not specifically saying I'm calling out these guys. I'm just saying that obviously they're signed to promoters and they're fighting on big platforms. So if the team thought it was right, my manager, my coach said, okay, you've got a long enough camp, we'll get you in condition. I'm gonna sign away and just go take the opportunity. Of course I would, just like anybody else. Yeah.
Weren't you meant to fight this weekend in Nottingham?
Yeah, same again. Yeah, was meant to fight. There was some kind of issue. I don't know if it was like an opponent issue, or I don't know if anyone's local. And the moral of the story is there was just asking for too much money to pay for my opponent. How it generally works is I think if you bring a guy that's from overseas, like a foreign fighter, in, I think it's obviously it's slightly more money than obviously an English fighter over here would be. And then I don't really know too much about it. My coach just hit me up and just say, look, the fees were just a bit too much at this moment in time. We just pulled you off the show and then we'll just go again. And then a couple of weeks later, obviously the Moses fight came in and we just went up there and just went for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know, like, how many more fights are you trying to have this year?
I'm trying to be active as much as possible, to be honest. I mean, so I fought Jake in March. I've just fought Moses. I had a slight nick in my eye, so I've had to have that stitched. The stitching's gone now. And the boxing board gave me like a 28 days, like it's like a rest suspension, just to make sure my eye is fully healed and etc. etc. But in the meantime, I'm still going to the gym. I'm obviously, like I said, from the last fight with Moses, my conditioning wasn't really up to scratch. My body composition wasn't really like what I would like it to be. So now, during these 28 days, especially, not even necessarily in the boxing gym at the minute, I'm just going to the normal gym, hitting the cardio, hitting the weights, hitting the strength and conditioning sessions, just trying to just bring it all together. And then when I've gone to see my GP and it says, yeah, you're fit to box again, we'll be back in the gym. And then any kind of fight that will come up, I'll be willing to go and make things happen and fight in the ring. So that's what it is at the minute.
Yeah. What got you, who's your favourite current boxer?
So are we talking like just ever or just like right now?
Right now, and then we can talk about ever if you want.
Okay, so right now it would be Canelo.
Yeah.
Just for the fact that I like his attitude toward boxing. He seems like a gentleman outside of the ring. He's very, very, very talented boxer. His skills, his head movement, his power, his footwork, his aggressiveness. I just think this day and age, especially in his division, obviously it's clear that his division, there's no getting away from him. And when people in his division fight him, there's no getting away from him. And then he just, he tears you to pieces, basically.
Yeah. And then ever, who's your favourite fighter?
I'll go with the obvious one just because it's more closer to me, which would be Mike Tyson. You know, the peekaboo stance, the slip, the rolls.
Yeah.
When I fight, even though I'm a long shot away from it, but I would, if it was down to me, if I could put them two boxers together, attack like Mike Tyson, even though he had great defense work as well. But if I could attack like Mike Tyson and defend like Canelo, that would be like my perfect boxer, if you want to say that, mate.
Yeah. What's your favourite Mike Tyson fight?
I was going through his videos a couple months back, to be fair. Obviously, I just like to watch videos, just see what I can pick up from it. I think, like, don't get me wrong, we love the one hit knockout. So even though he did that with most of them, I think there was a fight with Shannon Briggs, I believe.
Yeah.
I think he fought Shannon Briggs. That was a good one. And I think
Lennox Lewis.
Yeah, but I'd say he was past it at that time. He still had the fight in him, but I think he was past it. I'm talking about before my time, so it's going to be way before your time as well. I think there was a fight against Buster Douglas, I think it was.
I've seen like it's on YouTube, but yeah.
Yeah, I think he actually lost the first one, then won the second one. I'm not too sure. My boxing history is absolutely crap. But yeah, I just remember watching interviews afterwards about it, that Buster Douglas said that Mike Tyson broke his rib in like the first or third round and then carried through and then got the win. But then obviously the second fight, if it is Buster Douglas, don't get me wrong.
It is.
Yeah, and then obviously the second fight, I believe that Mike Tyson won as well and just came back and just avenged his defeat, if you want to say that.
Which was good. Is there any other like old fighter that you like? Like, do you like? I like watching like Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah, I mean,
I like.
Before I started boxing, I used to think that Floyd Mayweather was boring. Obviously, I didn't really know about boxing. I didn't know what it entails. You just look at it from a non-fighter's point of view, and I think the fight that I remember watching the most with Mayweather was the Manny Pacquiao fight, and Mayweather. And obviously it went the distance and like it just seemed boring. And then when I got into boxing and I started to understand how it works and the puzzles and the traps and the footwork and the different fighting styles, I watched the Mayweather and Canelo fight. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, I've seen it on YouTube, yes.
Yeah, and then Mayweather, even though Canelo's obviously was a lot younger then, but Mayweather just took him to school, man, and he was just, it's like I said, I know about boxing now, so when I'm looking at Mayweather, I'm just thinking, yo, some of the things that he does is just, you can say it's out of this world, you know what I mean? So yeah, when like obviously Mayweather's going to be up there with obviously the greatest of all times, you know what I mean? He's the guy that made it into a business, made the money come money made. That's where obviously got his name from. He's the one for me that really set like the payroll in boxing.
Yeah. Did you always want to be a boxer?
No, like I said, that I only started boxing 6 years ago. My first sport was football. And what team you got on? Man United?
Man United.
Man United is my favourite team as well.
Yeah.
Growing up as a kid, I played football. When I was 15, 16, that's when I was like my best. and obviously I didn't make it in football. And as time gone on, I always played football. I always played football, and then how I started boxing was that I put too much weight on. So I got into boxing and then just fell in love with it. Done 2 years training, then 2 years amateurs, and then this is my second year of being pro, technically.
Yeah.
I turned pro the first year of COVID just to be registered as a pro. So then when COVID is no longer, we can just go straight in and get the ball rolling. But I've had to have my medical twice, so this is the second time. So technically, I'm a second year pro. But yeah, football was my first sport. I played striker. Man United is my favourite team. Obviously, Nottingham Forest are doing well now. They've just gone into the Premier League as well. So obviously the hometown, so it's always good for them.
Yeah.
And obviously for this city to do well. So yeah, I still love football. I watch it now and then. The Euros, when England got to the final, it was massive. Me and the lads was in the pub, fully supporting. Do you know what I mean? So football will always be a massive part.
So do you still watch football?
Yeah, the last game I watched was the Forest in the Forest.
Huddersfield.
Yeah, that was the last game. Again, was in the pub with the lads supporting. Obviously, they managed to do the job, and then in Nottingham City Centre, we've got a thing called Market Square, and it's just like it's pretty much what it says, a big massive square where like, and everybody just gathered around there. And when the next day when they got promoted, the Market Square was like the Forest home stadium's called the City Ground, like thousands everywhere, just filled Market Square. Like there was at a game and all the guys was there with the playoff trophy and lifting up the trophy, etc., just showing the support back what the fans have kept on through this season as well.
Yeah. Who do you think's going to win the rematch? Alexander Usyk or Anthony Joshua?
For me, what I believe what AJ happens is that he loses before he finds the solution. So just like Ruiz, he didn't really know what to expect, even though he did land a good shot in the third round, yeah. But that was more like a flash knockdown. It didn't really buzz Ruiz. So Ruiz came back out fighting.
Yeah.
Obviously, Ruiz gave him some shots. He didn't really know what to expect. And then the second time with Ruiz, obviously he knew what to expect. Obviously he knew what game plan he had to take. And he got the job done. And same with Usyk. Like he was basically saying that he tried to box a boxer. Obviously Usyk's skill, southpaw as well, very, very awkward. I'm at the low level of fighters and I hate fighting southpaw, so never mind the undisputed cruiserweight champion, and then's gone up into the heavyweight division and don't know, I think he done the Olympics and all of that, never mind that. But I do realize, like everybody says that Joshua should have used his size, should have just stuck it on him a bit more, be a bit more aggressive. I do believe if he comes out with that mentality the second time round, Usyk will have more of a problem than he did the first time. And even in the first fight, when I watched the first fight, AJ, when he caught him with some shots, like Usyk felt it, and I just felt like if he applied a bit more pressure or followed up a bit more with it, I don't think Usyk would have been able to withstand AJ's power and his power and his momentum and his aggressiveness. I didn't think he would be able to manage it, because if you look after the fight, Usyk was still marked up. He still had bruises. Like he obviously did got hit, but just not hit enough. And I think if AJ did apply the pressure a bit more, used his weight, and applied more forces in his punches, I think he will get the job done. Yeah.
Yeah. And my final question is: do you have any advice for people who want to be a boxer when they're older?
I'd say start younger, so you can master the basics. I mean, I was like 25 when I started. So like I was learning the basics at 25. But for you, like young kids growing up like yourself or anyone that's just interested in boxing, start as young as possible. Learn the fundamentals, learn the basics. And then as you grow older and you mature and your body changes, have like know where you want to go, what weight you're going to fight at, and just basically just stick at it, man. Just find the love for it, have the passion for it. And obviously just get training, because training is hard. Make training hard and the fight will be easier, even though fights are hard. But that's what we say, man. Do all the hard work in the gym. When it comes to fight night, if the other boxer ain't ready, then your job will be a lot easier. So would be my main objective, is to tell any kids, start from young, get the fundamentals, get the basics, and then as you grow up and you mature through your ages and stuff, find out where you want to be and then just make it happen. Then just, if you got a passion for it, go live your dream.
Yeah. I just want to say a massive thank you for your time, mate.
No worries, anytime. It's my first interview I've ever done like this as well, so I'll just chuck that out there. You're doing well. I can see that you've got a few boxers that you've obviously had an interview and recorded as well. So on your behalf, just keep doing what you're doing. If you inspire in boxing, or if you just want to interview the boxers, just stay at it. Obviously, you got a passion for it, for doing it so young. So yeah, that's my praises to you. Just do what you're doing. You love to do it, and then just try and better it each day, day by day, month by month, and year by year. Just do the best that you can.
Yeah. Thank you, mate. Thank you.
No worries. Have a good day. All right, Sam.
And you, mate. Bye.